Hey everybody, welcome back. We are getting ready to watch some more. Hold on. We Are the Wave. I couldn't remember what the third show was. We're I've got Ozark Wednesday and We Are the Wave all up, and I was like, wait a minute, which one do I need to do? So we're getting ready to react to We Are the Wave. We're on season one, episode four, I believe. Yeah, we're on episode four. This one's called You're Destroying Everything. We left off with they Leah invited everybody to be part of the wave, and Tristan didn't want that because he knows if things get too big, it gets out of hand. You know, it's harder to control things and make sure that they stay out of trouble. So they they left off with everybody heading to the butcher place, the butcher shop, and people were throwing stuff through windows and destroying property and all that kind of stuff. And they weren't listening to what Leah was saying and all that kind of stuff. And she is quickly learning that it's not always going as planned. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. I could see several of them saying, several of the original group saying, you're destroying everything, talking to the other people in the group. Zazie at first did not seem to be on board with having a crowd. She was on Tristan's side, but then she was right there in amongst them when they ended that episode. So I was a little confused by that. Hagen seemed to be going with it, kind of. And Raheem, I think he was being a bit cautious about things, but I'm not sure. The girl he likes, Paula, I think is her name. She was all up in the crowd as well, enjoying it all. So, yeah, we'll have to see what ends up happening with the original group. That's all of the original group, right? Tristan, Raheem, Hagen, Zazie, Leah. I think I've got everybody. I might be missing somebody, but I'm not positive. But let's go ahead and get into it and see what's happening on the show. Look at the meat hooks. So they're inside the butcher shop now.
Watch out! What is that? That's disgusting!
Blood or lard? Oh, there's some live animals in there. She's gonna let it loose. She's caught. Or Zazie's caught. Oh, assault on an officer. Really assaulting an officer. Hopefully Tristan's out of there. So Leah's caught. There's Raheem and Paula. You can tell it's dubbed right now because they're not really running as they're recording the dubbing. Can't prove they were inside.
Nice and calm, okay?
Oh, here's the cow.
Alright, let's go.
Got the harness on. Grab the harness. A little bit of a lead. Oh, don't shoot the cow.
No! Hey, don't! Hey, stop! No! No! Keep moving. Go!
Well, that was unnecessary. He didn't need to shoot the cow. It wasn't rabid or going to kill anything. There was, speaking of shooting animals, there was a case, there's been several cases. I think the most well-known was in Zanesville, Ohio. I'm thinking that's the name of the town that it happened in. There was a zoo that they couldn't, I can't remember the reason that this ended up happening. I can't remember if they'd gone belly up and so they just let all the animals go or something like that. But there were lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. But lions and tigers and other type of dangerous animals that had been let loose on this community. from a zoo that was not operating properly. I don't believe it was, hold on, accredited. I couldn't think of the word. I don't think it was accredited as a zoo or as a sanctuary or anything like that. And for whatever reason, I think the people that owned the place just let all the animals go. And law enforcement ended up having to shoot all of these animals because there was no way to safely round them up and detain the animals. And you just saw these big cats and other type of dangerous animals, like these big cats right here, just laying dead on the streets, type of thing. And it was just a horrible thing kind of see. And so the look on her face, the horror and disgust and that sort of thing of seeing the dead cow, because the whole point was to save the cow, because the slaughterhouse wasn't doing things by code and killing the animals humanely, you know, and then they killed the cow anyhow. So there was a bit of horror and disgust on her face, and I imagine there was horror and disgust on the faces of not only the law enforcement but the townspeople in that community for all of the big animals that had to have been killed because of what happened. And I know that's not the only place that's happened in. I know it's happened in other places, but it kind of reminds me of that. These big ferocious kitties. Gotta explain things to mom and dad.
We were doing the right thing. And I swear, haven't you given enough lectures today?
She's still trying to keep
Hurst,
them
Leah.
spirited, even after they weren't listening. Commissar. The commissar's in town. I know that song. Was it a one-hit wonder? I think it was. Maybe not, though. Was the icing just coming off in one piece?
Sit down, please.
Or is there something else on it? Oh, it's not a donut. It's something else. Is it a hot dog with sauerkraut? Or kielbasa? They probably do kielbasa rather than hot dog.
And it would have been slaughtered anyways. That's what the animal was born for.
It wasn't a threat.
No,
How was
what
it
I
a
don't
threat?
understand is people, they have to find a way to get by somehow, right? Well,
Trying to show her the other
so-called
side.
Who says the slaughterhouse was my idea?
everyone I talked to before you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an advantage with you spoiled kids. You might have a rat with you.
we talked about that, didn't we? Mom is pissed. I think I said that with the last show, too. Ozark. Is she going to go? I thought there for a minute she's going to go after him. Is that her dad?
This isn't like you at all.
Don't provoke your mom right now, Leah.
I mean, you got arrested.
Her dad's the
She's
commissar?
absolutely right. Why would you do this? Who knows what could have happened?
I thought you might be.
Apparently, I didn't remember
No reason
what
at
he
all to
looks like.
rebel against us.
We're not done yet, Leah. There will be consequences.
Oh no, they're not the same guy. They just look similar in certain lighting.
They bailed because they didn't have the balls. And maybe if he'd been listening to Tristan, then none of this would have happened.
She was right there in with them.
Is that so, Zazie?
And assaulting an officer.
Is your little revolutionary phase finally complete? Do you think you're done with this wave nonsense?
Well, that wasn't smart to say. So is this Tristan?
I should have prepared the slaughterhouse
Yeah.
operation better. And I especially want to apologize to those of you in real trouble now.
So she's taking accountability,
The
but she
operation
still hasn't
still
learned
could
her
have been
lesson.
successful.
It was me.
What?
What? Are you?
You won't change a thing with a mob.
Let's have a vote.
What do you mean? Wait, what for?
Who's
To
for
vote him
keeping the
out?
traitor out of the wave? All right, so who's in favor?
You can't do this.
So getting rid of the leadership that they don't
Against
agree
it?
with.
Okay, let's think about where we go from here.
So parallels to real world. We see that in, at least in the US, I'm not knowledgeable enough about politics and divisions and all that kind of stuff in other countries. But in the US, we have division on the Republican side of things. We have the traditional Republican conservatives, and then we have the new Republicans, which tend to be more extreme. And the ones that are the most extreme right now are the ones they call MAGA. So on the Republican side, that's what we have. And then on the Democrat side, we have the moderate Democrats who are on one side. And then the progressives are, they're not the most extreme on the Democrat side. I'd say, I don't even know what, because most progressives, they have some different views from moderates, but they're not exactly the most extreme. But there are some extremists on the left side of things as well, the Democrat side of things. And I was trying to think of what those, the ones in our party in the US would be called. Now, the Republicans call some of them communists, which is not true. We don't have any communists in the Democrat Party. We don't have any socialists in the definition of socialist that goes with the communism. We do have democratic socialism. Some members in the Democrat side that are a party of that. Bernie Sanders is probably the most popular one, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's the most extreme on the Democrat Party. So, but the ones that go past Bernie, I don't know what they're called. so, so as far as the left and the right, those are the divisions that we have in the U.S. And then you've got the independents where some may lean libertarian, some may lean Green Party, some may lean, I was trying to think of some of the other, there is a socialist party. Do they just call it the Socialist Party? I think they do. I think they just call it the Socialist Party. But a lot of third party are mixed in with the independents. I was trying to, I used to vote third party for some things, and I was trying to think of what some of the other names are, and I can't think of them off the top of my head. Go figure. So in our politics, those are the divisions that we see there. And so we're seeing some of that mimicked behavior with our group, the WAVE group. We've got the ones who were originally there who have fractured, and we've got the ones who are seem to be more extreme and are wanting to take things one direction, and we've got the ones who are more traditional and want to take things in a different direction. And so we're fracturing. That was a long explanation, wasn't it? Sorry. But part of the point of this is to show this dynamic. How did Nazism become what it was? And we have some of that in the US. We have some Nazis, we have some neo-Nazis, we have white supremacists in general, that type of thing. So how did we get to that point? And that's what this whole point of the wave was supposed to demonstrate, is how people get caught up in that thinking and that mentality and just go with the mob. So that is the whole point.
Hey, Tristan!
I'm with you, Tristan, so far.
Tristan!
Just stop. Just be quiet, Zazie.
He's trying not to let everybody turn on each other. So he's trying to be the moderator, which doesn't always work out well. He keeps looking at that sign. Red light bulb? Red paint. Because that's what that guy is wanting to buy out his parents for, is to build that place, right? Now we're going to learn more about Tristan and who this lady is. I think it's an old girlfriend based on that. I don't think it's a mother anymore. She got killed in the last stuff that he was involved in.
Mom,
That Oh, Mom. He said Mom. He was holding her hand like a girlfriend. I'm so confused.
Today's your big day. Pack all your crap up.
He's getting out? He's got some PTSD. FaceTime. I've never had FaceTime. My dad has it, though. That's how he talks to my stepmom all the time. Ah, he is getting released today.
Cut out your heart and serve it to her on a silver plate. Just have to be. Like a big fat gesture of love.
You watch too many romantic movies.
And you too few.
Not all romantic movies end the way you want them to, though. At least they have a little curtain on their toilet. The prison I worked at, toilet was out there well, it wasn't out in the open. It was in the pod, but there was no curtain between you and your roommate. Don't come back. If he doesn't stop doing what he's doing, he's going to end up back there. Is that where he hid stuff? Yep. Hey, Moo Cow. What is she going to do? She's going to get in more trouble.
What's going on, dude? I tried to come visit you, but they said you'd been transferred.
Were you on a
Part of the old gang?
Start a prison riot or something?
Still know the carpenter?
Give me a second.
The carpenter?
It'd be for 2 bookshelves.
Is that a drug deal? So they're using code. Is it drugs or is it something else?
Why didn't he come?
Hey, I don't know. I'm not his mother.
If he's not answering his phone, she doesn't know.
Zazie!
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, Hagen was missing also. She
Why
didn't
aren't
say
you
anything
with me,
about
your
Hagen.
new-
Well, what Raheem just said.
And what did he say?
No, you're there for Zazie.
You know he's here for you.
Oh, really?
They're walking up to the hospital?
That's just childish.
Who says you're boss? Come on, Lee. Yeah.
It's got a wave of its own. So, oh, it's
Here
apartments.
it is.
Tristan. Fixing up the place. Well, somebody tell him that you guys want an apology.
Okay, look.
Well, that's good. I like to see that. What about Hagen and Zazie?
That night at the slaughterhouse was the best night of my life.
What?
How come? While those folks were out of town.
Oh.
Yeah? All right.
Not for what we initially thought.
I can't take it anymore.
Uh-oh.
Hagen.
What is this bullshit I'm looking at? The door frames have no masking tape, the light switch has been covered, the old wallpaper hasn't been scraped off, and whoever painted this wall should go right back to prison for your information.
That was his way of forgiving. Fighting his shadow. Got a mix of English and other languages. That's a tiny roller that Zazie has. Looking at some of the videos that they've taken. Oh, the principal's car. Miss Tiebreak? Oh, she's Miss Tiebreak, okay. BN rules. Ah, there's BN, okay. That's not the old factory though. Where is it? Question is she getting into more and more trouble? What is she going to run into when she finds this other group?
You really scared me there.
Isn't that one of the bullies from the school?
It's creepy down here too.
So you must not go to Scholl High School, right?
No, Schopenhauer Secondary.
Oh, okay.
Where are the others?
Well, it's supposed to.
Skinheads.
Soon we'll get real weapons and shoot all the Jews right in the head with all the dirty Arabs.
What do we have here? Hello there, Leah.
It is a trap.
Piper, you're here!
Now him yelling,
German girl out of here!
the one guy yelling, shoot all the Jews and all that, was he shouting that at her because he believes that she's a Jewish? Which, I mean, she might be, but is that...
Write exactly what I tell you on the wall, in big letters.
They're setting her up.
Do it! Go on, write it!
What's more important to you, huh?
So her group was more anti-fascist, whereas the Hitler group is more fascist. She better run fast and remember how to get out of there. That was smart to use the paint can as a flamethrower, though. Better hurry. She's kind of finding herself on her own, though. There's no covering that up. I noticed her hair is getting more and more disheveled. I mean, I can understand her being against some beauty products, but she's not even combing it.
Against the show and about how good they are.
He is the commissar. Maybe not. I'll have to look it up now because it's bothering me. That's the commissar.
Morning, Mrs. Hurst.
They
Hello,
just look
Leah.
similar.
Sorry to bother you.
That answered that. I don't have to look it up now. I've always told folks...
Oops.
That was rude. I've always told the folks in my group, because one of the arguments that comes up a lot in the substance abuse groups is that the cops are out for them. They're, you know, they're looking for them to do something wrong, that kind of stuff. And I've always said to them, once you've gotten in trouble with the law, you're kind of always on their radar. You've established a pattern kind of thing, even though pattern needs 2 points. But even if you get in trouble once with the law, you're just always on their radar. So it's not necessarily that they're targeting you. Plus, if you're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, you know. Now, that being said, there are folks that are targeted and set up, which is a whole different issue, a whole different thing. But I have a feeling Leah's going to be on his radar at the very least a lot. That was the whole point of that. Well, she did cover it up, although you can still kind of see it. He's calling her. Is she going to ignore him? You have no friends right now, Leah. At least give him 5 minutes. He recorded this earlier. What's he doing?
But then use it, and the sentence goes to 3 years.
He burned down the slaughterhouse? There were cattle in there, though.
To cut my heart out and show you how much you mean to me. That's what I did.
Yeah.
If folks aren't here, I can yell at you as loud as I want.
Oh, okay.
Yell away.
Really well up, you idiot.
Oh, is he getting lucky? Well, these kids are supposedly in high school, so let's not watch them make out, please. I could believe that the actor Tristan is not underage, but still. The concept is they're underage. Why are we watching them make out? We've got the idea. We can cut away now. Netflix. What's on his back? Is that the whole point of showing us them making out, is whatever's on his back? Oh, I wonder if his back is a tattoo he tried to have removed, like a biohazard tattoo. Ask him about his back tattoo. Or not. Oh, we're getting there. Okay. Oh, please don't tell me it was a swastika. Oh, and it is literally connect the dots. He didn't try to have it removed. A wolf?
Miss Kitsuna.
But she got caught. Her parents just got home. Seems like it was a smooth escape. I see a moon, I don't see stars. Who's he hiding from? Is that the commissar? Is that the neighbors? What was the significance of that whole thing? They did show us the connect the dots, so I got the answer to that, but sometimes they show us stuff that doesn't seem to relate at all. Is he gonna rob the truck? Or is this the carpenter?
Where's
Yep.
Nikki? The money.
That is the carpenter. I think we're doing more than drugs. Is this arms? Looks like a man holding the gun. Got to keep his underwear on, did he? No.
Nikki.
So all of that for a phone? An untraceable phone? Ah, I want answers. I'm not getting answers. It's driving me nuts. Able to do it without the stencil. Ah, the group's there. Everybody.
I guess you
No,
guys heard about
all
the
in black.
slaughterhouse.
Tristan, with only 5 members. Or does anyone disagree?
Has Leah learned her lesson?
Fuck, I must have forgotten.
I knew it.
They're all
In the future, we
teasing.
need to be more prepared, okay?
They're all teasing.
Okay.
Oh, they
Before we
weren't
leave
teasing her about the masks. Ah, but we have the thumbnail. They do have their masks. Freddy! Or not Freddy, Jason! So, we're back to the original 5. We're still doing things that are illegal and all that kind of stuff. She said no violence, although what is your definition of violence? Is defacing property, which is destruction of property to some extent, depending on if you can clean the defacing off or not. Is that considered violence? You know, if somebody comes at me by messing up some of my stuff, that's looked at as being violent, as a threat. In some of the stalking cases that I've reviewed and been a part of defacing, like tearing up books, tearing up property, writing things on property, all of that was done as intimidation, as part of the stalking. So, what is the context of it all and the definition and all that kind of stuff? So, she said no violence, which I'm assuming the Molotov cocktail is definitely violence for her, but I don't know. So, they're still doing things they shouldn't do, but they've learned their lesson that it needs to be just the 5 of them. So, that's good. But now we've got people doing things in their name that's not necessarily them. And so, to use the example I said earlier, on the conservative side here in the US, some of the MAGA folks are doing things like some of the mass shootings have involved people with the MAGA type of thinking. The kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmore, who was the governor of Michigan, I think, those men had that extreme MAGA thinking. So, this other group that's calling themselves the Wave, what's going to happen with that and all that kind of stuff? They don't have control over those people, and they can't stop those people from using their name. So, I don't know. We had that one incident with the Nazis, the skinheads, and it hasn't come back up again. Not really. I mean, Tristan asked her what happened to her cheek, but actually it was this side, wasn't it? He asked her what happened to her cheek, but nothing more. So in the next 2 episodes, we have 2 more. Are they going to come back up again? Because they were upset with themselves at the fact that they revealed their name and who they are and some of their ideology to her, and she escaped. So, is that going to come back into play? So, we got some questions. And what was up with him hiding from the neighbor? I think it was the neighbor. All right. Thank you all for joining me on this one. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.